Hey guys, good to see you. I want to tell you a little story. I had a colleague once, a consultant. His name was Stephen Fear. He couldn't find one single project until he took his wife's name. This isn't just the beginning of a bad joke, it's a fundamental truth. Fear is the worst advisor in any business. But seriously, too often major decisions in companies are made out of fear, or they are postponed until it's too late, all because courage is missing. Listen, where courage is absent, fear reigns. They are polar opposites. In my own model of motivation, courage is about taking action, while its opposite, stability, is about hesitating and overanalyzing the situation. So, how do you move into action? In psychology, they call it volition. It's the conscious conversion of a goal into a result. It means you deliberately control your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and then align them toward that one goal. I want you to really hear these words. Consciously, deliberately, control, align, implement, result. Now, let's compare that with the reality inside most companies. How do meetings run? How do teams and departments collaborate? Let's be honest, in day-to-day business, a consistent alignment toward clear goals is a rare sight. So it is any wonder that employees don't deliver the results you hope for when everything is lacking: goals, direction, focus, and willpower. Why is that? It's that old primal fear, the voice that says better to do nothing at all than to do something wrong. The instinct that tells you to keep your mouth shut with your expert opinion, just to avoid being blamed if a decision goes south. So, how do you change that? You have to start at the top. Leadership must champion courageous decisions. They have to lead the way, make swift calls, and communicate with confidence, even in the face of resistance. But many can't. And it's not their fault. Obviously, no one taught them leadership. It's a skill you have to learn. No one is a born leader. In fact, our natural wiring works against it. Our instinct is to seek approval and avoid conflict in order to survive. This is the opposite of the courage that innovation and true leadership require. Most of us simply never had the role models to learn from. But fear can be conquered. Courage can be learned. New decision-making processes can be built. I've guided companies, both large and small, through this. For me, it's the most rewarding task there is, to not only craft a new courageous positioning on paper, but to mentor its implementation from the top down. To feel that shift, the new wind blowing. It unleashes energies that can completely transform a company, far beyond a simple rebranding. But this requires open-minded leaders. Are you one of those? So, if you are, where do you even begin? It doesn't start with a memo or a new corporate mission statement. It starts inside, with you. Building a culture of courage is a personal practice before it becomes a business strategy. Here are 5 concrete action steps to help you, as a leader, defeat your own fear and create an environment where courage can thrive. First, start with the smallest yes. The point here is to build your courage muscle. You don't start by lifting 200 kilos. You start with a small weight. Your task? Find one small uncomfortable thing you've been putting off. This could be a professional challenge, like finally giving that critical feedback to a senior colleague. Or it could be personal, like addressing that lingering issue with a family member. Just do it. The feeling that you can get from that, this feeling of being in control, of being able to act, is the foundations for bigger decisions. Second, conduct a fear inventory. The purpose of this is to make the enemy visible. You cannot fight what you do not understand. Sit down for 15 minutes with a piece of paper or a notes app and write down, what am I truly afraid of right now? Be brutally honest. For example, I'm afraid of looking foolish in front of the board. Or I'm afraid that if I delegate this task, I will lose control. Just writing it down is not enough. It can leave you feeling powerless. The crucial second step is to dissect the fear. For each fear you've listed, ask yourself, what's the absolute worst case scenario if this happens? How likely is it on a scale of 1 to 10? What is one small concrete step I could take to mitigate this risk? The process moves your fear from an overwhelming feeling into a manageable problem with a potential action plan. Third, create a failure resume. When we say resume, we mean your CV, your list of achievements. But we all have a second, invisible one. This exercise is about making it visible to build resilience. Write down your biggest professional and personal failures. For example, I lost that one huge client pitch in 2018. Or my first business went bankrupt. And next to each one, write down the invaluable lesson you learned from it. So to say, I really wasn't prepared enough for the sales pitch. Or I shouldn't have spent so much money. This exercise reframes failure from something to be ashamed of into your most powerful source of wisdom. Fourth, ask one dangerous question. To make it safe for others to be courageous, you have to go first. The goal is to create a ripple effect of psychological safety. In your next team meeting, ask a question like, what is the one thing we are all thinking but nobody is saying? Or, what's the potential risk of this project that we are too afraid to talk about? You might have to do this again and again, but by consistently asking the hard questions, you give your team explicit permission for the truth to be spoken. And fifth, reward courage, not just results. Think about it. How are people punished for failed attempts in your company? It's often subtle. They are not fired, but maybe they are overlooked for the next exciting project. Or they get that slightly disappointed look in the next performance review. To change this, you must praise the attempt in public. In a team meeting, say something like, I want to acknowledge Sophia. Her idea for the new campaign didn't work out as planned, but the courage she showed in trying something completely new is exactly what we need more of here. This sends a powerful message. Here we value bold action, not just safe successes. So, let's bring all of this together. Courage is the opposite of fear, but it doesn't mean that it's the total absence of fear. No one is fearless. Courage is the decision to act despite the fear. Often, fear is just a compass, pointing us to areas where we are meant to grow. Courage is simply the act of taking the first step in this direction. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous practice. It's the daily work of leadership. It's the work of being beyond business. This is the path. If you are ready to walk it, let's talk.